Count Corley only for the hard work of the Socialist Party in the Tala area and the opportunity afforded me by independent deputies to raise the question of Gama, they would not have been outed. But I want to ask you, Taoiseach, how could such a vile machine of shocking exploitation be transferred intact from the Middle East by Gama to Irish sites, and how could they get away with it for 4.5 years? It is inconceivable to me that prestigious projects, including 2 ESB power stations, could be constructed without some senior personnel noticing. For one thing, the workers never got a single legal wage slip. And if there was an excuse about wages, surely the slave regime of 80 hours per week with no stop ever for rain and cold could not have been invisible. And that's not even to raise the depraved morality of Irish professionals who continuously at a big price whited the sepulchre called Gama, whited the rottenness that is inside that company. Now, this state is deeply shamed that men who came here to support their families, fathers who left their spouses and young children, brothers and sons, should be most criminally abused, exploited and duped in the course of the construction of the Celtic Tiger infrastructure. And Taoiseach, when you get up to answer me, I invite you to look at a delegation of the Turkish workers in the eye in the public gallery and tell them that the Irish people do not condone and are ashamed of the abuse that they have suffered. And can I follow on from Deputy Rabbitt's question? In Finance Bank Holland, last year alone, €9 million was put in there, secretly and duplicitously, of workers' wages. There is probably €30 million in workers' funds in Finance Bank Holland. When we surprised them by bringing 4 ex-workers there, they did supply us within 20 minutes a full account of the workers and each money that went into their account and what happened to it. A full statement, which of course they hadn't furnished to a single worker in the course of 3 years, therefore the worker not knowing that it was there. Taoiseach, I want to ask you now, and Minister Martin did act, and Minister Martin is to meet the workers hopefully tomorrow, and the Minister for Foreign Affairs and the Department has been helpful in accessing these documents. But I want to ask you, Taoiseach, will you tell us now today and guarantee through the intervention of the Irish State that by this weekend we will have in our hands this full statement for each worker in Gama in their hands on the sites, so that next week we can then sign the documents to access their accounts and have the money sent to their families or as they dispose?
Well, Count Corley, I think I appreciate what Deputy Higgins has said about the work of both ministers. It's the intention to get that as quickly as possible. Whether we have it by this weekend, I don't know. The Minister might have some further word on that when he meets tomorrow with the workers. He'd meet Gama later on during the week. But it is our intention, and you asked me to make the remark to the Gama workers that are here, it is our intention to make sure that we receive and seek their full rights and that we get the full obligations that Gama owe to them, that we get that money and we secure it. We believe we will get the cooperation of the papers. We're already, as I've said, in direct contact on that issue. We would perhaps think even the resources that are involved in this are perhaps even higher than the figures you've mentioned, but I can't be certain about that. But the estimates of the Minister's officials and the inspectorates would be that there is even more in those bank accounts and in those records than the figures that you've mentioned. But we will do everything we can to make sure that the rights are fulfilled, that the money is secured, and that we see this issue through. And of course, your first question I can't answer, but when these issues were raised, as they were raised, assurances were given, Count Corley, by Gama, by its auditors, by its legal advisers, that workers were in receipt of the proper pay rates, and they were given not to the Secretariat alone or to the Government Inspectorate alone, but also to the CIF, to SIPTU and to BATU. and those assurances at that time were accepted. As we found out, these are not the case, and the inspector's report has shown these facts will be put forward as soon as possible, as soon as we can deal with the legal position.
Deputy Joe Higgins.
Taoiseach, as soon as possible, I'm sorry, is not good enough. These men are destitute. They got paid 4 weeks ago a maximum of €250 cash. They have to be given the bus fare to come into town. That's how desperate this situation is. This is an incredible scandal by any stretch of the imagination. It's simple to access this, and I have made a proposal to the Minister. Either on Friday, executives of Finance Bank Holland come to Dublin with all the information so the workers have access to it, or each worker will sign a statement, which can be done tonight, that I can take, or other representatives of the workers with me, or others can take to Holland on Friday, so that they then give us the accounts authorised by the workers, and we bring back a statement of those accounts. They then will have a further document to sign that within 10 days they will get their money when that is submitted to the bank. That's what we need, and I need that assurance for these workers in front of you by this weekend. There are, Count Corley, other issues. Incredibly, some contract workers with Gamma were not the beneficiaries of Finance Bank Holland. For €800 a month, they work the 84-hour week. There is nothing there for them. We have to find the funds for those workers, and as Deputy Rabbit says, we have to find the wages for the 84-hour weeks that has been stolen from them. That's what we have to find. And lastly, Count Cole, Gamma still has not supplied a legal pay slip to any worker. This company must be banged around the place by the government to ensure that immediately it complies with trade union rates of pay, trade union conditions, human and worker rights, and the end to this regime of exploitation and intimidation which has made it a fortune, but at enormous human expense to its workers.
Silence in the gallery, please.